السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. ثم أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. ووصينا الإنسان بوالديه حملته أمه وهنا على وهن وفصاله في عامين أن اشكر لي ولوالديك إلي المصير. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي آمين يا رب العالمين. ثم أما بعد. So inshallah, my intention in this lecture is to do hopefully two things. At the very least, one thing. The essential thing that I wanted to cover with you today was a deeper look at the meaning of the Arabic word for mother, for and perhaps gain some insight from how the word is derived and what it comes from and what its implications are. I want to give you a little bit of background about that so that everybody's on the same page, inshallah. I have a particular approach to Quranic studies that is inspired by a number of scholars of the past, and that is that the words of the Quran, obviously they are sacred, and Allah chose this language to clarify or to deliver His most clear message. But this language was chosen for a reason, because this language is very rich. Among many reasons, one of them is that the language is very rich, and so the words that we are used to and we hear all the time, even they have a story behind them, and they have a lot of connotations to them. And when you understand all of those connotations, it gives you a deeper perspective on the way that word in particular is being used in Islam. Now those meanings themselves, they're not Islamic meanings. It doesn't mean that those are the meanings intended by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because that's Allah's word itself. But what it does do, Allah did choose these words for a reason. And it's interesting that the Arabs, even before Islam, had certain wisdom and insight that Allah Azza wa Jal acknowledges in a sense in the Quran by choosing their language. Because you can never separate a language entirely from its culture. That's impossible. Languages and cultures go hand in hand. They're embedded with each other. So there are certain wisdoms and anecdotes of the Arabs that are actually retained not only in the Quran but in the prophetic tradition as well. So I'm going to start, inshallah, with some of the meanings of the word Now, the Arabic language, some words when you look them up, it's not that much to look up. It's maybe a page or two of research and that's it. Then there are some other words that you look up and it's not an article or a page, it's literally kind of a book on its own. Like recently I was doing some digging into the word for love, al-hub in Arabic, and that's a deep study. Every lexicon is 10 pages on just the word hub. And when I say 10 pages, it's not like your term paper is 10 pages that you write font size 16 triple spaced. That's not what I mean. I'm talking about font size 6, 10 pages. And that's each lexicon. So that's quite a bit of work. Similarly, is actually quite a bit of reading. The word not for those of you who don't know, is the Arabic word for mother. The root letters are Hamza and Mim, or Alif, Mim, as the classics called it. And I dug through a lot of lexicons and I broke down the meaning into several categories. So I'm going to go through these categories, inshallah, and then discuss at the end how this adds to the beauty and appreciation of our mothers. So the beginning. The first category, you can call it, is purpose and planning. The word or the root letters Hamza, Mim, actually illustrate the meaning of purpose, al-qasd. So they say ammahu or ya ummuhu amman idha qasadahu. In Arabic with a fatha, ammun is actually intention or purpose. Like we say in Arabic, mal maqsudu bihada, what is the meaning of that? What's the purpose of it? That is the meaning of And the Arabic expression falam ankul walam ajbun walakin yamamtu biha, I did not retreat and I wasn't a coward. I showed resolve, I was committed to my intention, I fulfilled my goal. So the idea of fulfilling your goal or fulfilling your purpose is also from And as I say these meanings, I want you to think about how that may be related to your mom. I want you to understand, everything we're saying is not accidental. All the stuff that I chose for a reason. From within all the other tangents that you can go into, everything is tied together. And the first implication, for instance, here is my purpose and whatever I'm trying to accomplish doesn't go anywhere without my mom. And our mothers have a very clear, direct motive all the time. A mother has a clearer purpose than anybody else. A mother is constantly concerned with her child. Doesn't matter if the child turns 80. Her goal is still the well-being of her child. She never forgets that. المأموم أي هو على طريق ينبغي أن يقصد. It's also, is also used, the root is also used for a path that should be taken, for the road that should be taken. It's also, interestingly, for those of you who know, what's tayammum? Anybody know what tayammum is? When you don't have water and you have to make tayammum with فَتَيَمَّمُوا سَعِيدًا طَيِّبًا, for example. Tayammum, the ya is actually replaced with a hamza. It comes from the same root because literally tayammum means head for or make the intention of going towards the dirt when you can't find water to make wudu. So to make intention for something and go towards something. So that was the first meaning. Then, going forward from purpose, now when you have a purpose, you have a goal, you obviously have to plan. And actually, interestingly enough, the root letters also have several expressions of the Arabic language that have to do with planning. And so you have al-imam, not just the imam that leads us in prayer, but also the word imam means al-khaytu alladhi yumaddu ala al-bina fayubna alayhi wa yusawwa alayhi saqu al-bina. Back in the day, they did not have blueprints when they did architecture. They did not have architectural CAD drawings and all this other stuff. So how do they know that they're going to build this wall and it's going to be perfectly straight? They actually used to use strings. Like they take the string to the top and pull it to the bottom. Okay, that's a straight line. This is how we should make the beam. So they used to use these strings to make sure that the plan for the building is going to work. And they didn't have massive rulers or measuring sticks and all of that. So guess what they used again? They used strings. Okay, this is the width of the wall. This is how long the hall is going to be. This is how long that's going to be. So the means by which the plans are made is also called an imam. The architectural plans, how something is built, the device that you're going to use. So you can call it the blueprints. For in modern parlance, you can call it blueprints. As actually imam from the same root as mother. And so similarly, when they saw a perfectly straight arrow, a saham that's perfectly straight, they used to call that an imam also. Not to say that your imam's going to shoot you or anything, but the idea behind that is this arrow is so straight, you can use it as a means to do calculations for architecture and stuff like that, subhanAllah. Moving along, as actually the contractor, the builder, the architect, they didn't have rulers like I said, but they did have to have a khashaba, a plank of wood that they use as a standard. Like, they just hold it up and say, okay, this is straight. And then they use it over here and they use it over there. And this is his tool, he uses it all the time. He can't do any planning without this plank that he has. It's his number one device. Nowadays, these guys have measuring tape all the time with them. Contractors, right? That itself is also called an imam. Then I found a really interesting meaning, last part of this first section, which is purpose and planning. Amr al-Shaybani says, إن العرب تقول للشيخ إذا كان باقي القوة فلان بأمه أو بأمة. Or they also say بإمة. معناه راجع إلى الخير والنعمة لأن بقاء قوته من أعظم النعمة. They say for an old man who's still doing work like he's a young man. Or you have an older gentleman who still comes to the masjid and he's in the first row every time. This man is on an imma, meaning this man's got a purpose. He didn't forget what his purpose is. And he's on a mission. Nowadays we say the phrase, he's on a mission. So when someone's on a mission and they never lose sight of, they don't hide behind excuses and do what they're supposed to do, then that person is on an imma. So that was the first set of meanings from where we get the word mother. The second set of meanings have to do with leadership. It's going to be brief, inshallah. كل من ائتم به قوم كانوا على الصراط المستقيم أو كانوا ضالين. This is actually, an imam can be used for anyone who others follow, whether they are right or wrong. So imams on the Day of Judgment, يوم يدعو كل أناس بإمامهم. Every human being, all people are going to be called by their imams, because some imams led them to the right path and some imams led them to the wrong path. So in a sense, imam is also a leader, and that's the sense in which we use him for our masjid or our community. We have a'imma in our community. Similarly, the leaders of Quraysh were called a'immat al-kufr, the leaders of kufr, because they led other people. وَإِمَامُ كُلُّ شَيْءٍ قَيِّمُهُ وَالْمُصْلِحُ لَهُ. This is very important. An imam of anything, so interestingly, imam and come from the same origin. You must have picked that up. The imam of anything is someone who maintains something, keeps it going. Like if you take care of your car, in a sense, you're the imam of your car. Now I know in our language, we use the word imam in a very particular sense. So if you tell someone, I'm the imam of my car, they're not going to talk to you again and possibly refer you to a psychiatrist. But the original meaning, when someone takes care of something, someone takes care of a garden, someone takes care of a house, someone takes care of their belongings and things like that, or takes care of their animals, they were the imam of them. وَالْمُصْلِحْ لَهُ أَيْضًا, which means that they fix it when it goes bad. Someone who's always there to fix something when it goes bad is the imam of something. And again, that's the derivative. The original is still This is why we say the Quran is the imam of the Muslims. Or the Rasul ﷺ is the imam of the ummah. Or is the imamul a'imma actually. The Quran is our imam because it is holding us up, it is keeping the guidance going, and it's also correcting us whenever we make a mistake, and that's the role that the Rasul of Allah plays also, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Very interesting, I found. Imamul ghulam, the imam of a boy, imam of the boy. They use it for when he is studying in school, and all of the curriculum and the books that he has to finish, those books are called his imam, which actually ties the meanings of leadership, because this is what he has to follow. He has to follow the books. The books are leading him. That's also his purpose. His purpose is to read these books. Remember, previous thing was purpose and planning, and the next one is leadership. And all of those are captured in just casual speech of the Arabs. They'll say, oh, this boy, he's got a lot of, this is his imam. Meaning this is his plan for the next year. And this is the stuff he's got to study for the next year. Okay. Now we get to the fun parts. The Arabs use the same root letters for for lots of things that have to do with life. Not just one aspect of life, a number of aspects of life. So I'll preface this by saying how life is lived, how well it is lived. If life is going well, it has to do with how life is shaped, meaning did you get good opportunity, did you not get good opportunity, were you short, were you tall, all of these things, how your life took shape, and the path you will take in life. The path that you will take in life. So all of these number of themes that have to do with life are part of the word Like wal immatu al hala. The word imma actually means the state of something. Like kayfa haluk? How are you? In Old Arabic you could actually say kayfa immatuk. How you doing? How's your situation? Al hay'a, the shape of something. Like if a building is beautiful in its shape, they'll say al binayatu husnul imma. This building has beautiful imma, it's beautiful shape. Because it's constructed beautifully, it's got nice architecture, nice facade, etc. Imma and ummah are also used, interestingly, in the Quran and in Arabic for shir'ah, which means the law, for sharia. It's also used for our religion, ad-din, wa tariqa, the lifestyle. So our religion, which obviously dictates the path in our life, this is all tied together. The way, the lifestyle we choose, the laws and regulations that we follow, all of them have to do with the word And so the word dictates not just who you will become, but what kind of life you will lead. All of that is captured within it. And similarly in the Quran we find إِنَّا وَجَدْنَا آبَاءَنَا عَلَى أُمَّةٍ وَهِيَ مِثْلُ السُنَّةِ فِي الْآيَةِ the people said we found our ancestors committed to an ummah. What that means is we found our ancestors committed to a legacy, a religion, a way of life, a lifestyle. We found them doing things a certain way, and that way of doing things itself is called imma. Which is why the poet says, someone who has purpose in life and has a good life, and someone who has religion in life, which gives him purpose, and someone who doesn't have those things cannot be equal. So the poet says, وَهَلْ يَسْتَوِي ذُو أُمَّةٍ وَكَفُورٍ. Is someone who has an ummah and someone who's a disbeliever, can they be the same? So he didn't say believer and disbeliever. The poet says the one with an ummah and the one without an ummah. So we think of ummah as nation. I'll get to that a little bit later. But ummah's original meaning actually has to do with lifestyle, religion, deen, sharia, these implications. Then, the word and ummah. Literally mother, but ummah also. They say غَضَارَةُ الْعَيْشِ وَالنِّعْمَ وَالْمُلْكِ. When you are living it up in life, when you have a lot of luxury in life, comfort in life, then you are a person that has a lot of ummah or Dhu ummin doesn't just mean someone who has a mother, actually means someone who has a good life. Someone who has luxury, someone who has comfort. Someone who has been given a lot of conveniences in life. That is someone who has an Al-ummatu al-aishur rakhi. Ummah also, this, by the way, the word we call it mother, and when we put a ta marbuta on it, we call it ummah, becomes nation. But originally, even mother was called ummatun. It was actually ummatun and abatun. What do you think abatun means? Father. They both used to have a ta marbuta, and ta marbuta was used out of love. But due to the excess usage, it just became But the original word is actually ummah, even for mother. So, al-aishur rakhi. So they say in Arabic, huwa fi immatin min al-aish. Man, that guy's got a good life. Their way of saying that guy's got a good life he lives it up because he is in an imma of a life. That's their way of saying he's got a really good life. If you can't fill in the blanks yourself, I'll help you fill them in. The implication here is a good life is a byproduct of a mother. A good life is to have a mother in your life. A good life is a source. The source of it is your mother. The word imma or imam also means guide. Guide, which also again has to do with path and lifestyle and planning. And this is why even a road that is unique and no other road will get you there, only this road will get you there, that kind of road is called imam. The road is also called imam. The Quran says, وَإِنَّهُمَا لَبِإِمَامٍ مُبِينٍ. The nations of Ashabul Aika and the nation of Lut, alayhim salam, they were destroyed and their ruins were in the Arab lands. So when the Arabs used to travel, they used to pass by those ruins. But there was only one major road that would get you there, and they had to travel a lot on that road because of trade reasons. So that road became imam, a road that is used a lot and nothing else can replace it. Two qualities. A road that is what? Used a lot and no alternatives, nothing can replace it. What is a mother? She's used a lot and nothing can replace her. It's one of the implications, just the imam. Just that. Her uniqueness. Which takes me to the next meaning, the next set, and then the final set. The next set is the word ummah or they have a lot to do with uniqueness, something that cannot be compared to anything else. This is one of the rationales behind Ibrahim alayhi salam being called kana ummatan. He was an ummah, which some people translate, he was a nation by himself. Al-ummatu fi ar-rajul al-munfarad alladhi la nadhira lahu. Anna qasdahu munfarid min qasdi ummatin. A person who stands by himself, unique from all other individuals. Ibrahim alayhi salam is unique for many, many, many reasons. Starting with not just his character and his faith, but also the kinds of trials that he went through. There are a number of things that make Ibrahim alayhi salam very unique. Also in the things that Allah asked of him, that He does not ask of us, like jumping into a fire, He does not ask of us, or attempting to slaughter your own child, He does not ask of us. He doesn't ask us these things, but He asked those things of Ibrahim alayhi salam. He didn't ask typical prophets to go and break idols. He didn't tell Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam to go into Makkah and destroy idols. He told that to who? To Ibrahim alayhi salam. So there are a number of things that are unique about Ibrahim alayhi salam, which also qualify for the word ummah for him. So someone who's incomparable, there's no other like it. And that again goes back to our mothers. Ummah is also a unique period of time. An unusual period of time. So بَعْدَ أُمَّةٍ in the Quran, وَلَئِنْ أَخَّرْنَا عَنْهُمُ الْعَذَابَ إِلَىٰ أُمَّةٍ مَعْدُودَةٍ. If we were to delay their punishment until an ummah. Ummah ma'duda is translated until a limited time. But why ummah for time? Because ummah is a unique, unusual, unexpected kind of time. The idea is these people deserve punishment right now. Even a second more is unusual for them. So Allah is delaying punishment for the nation that deserves punishment for a very unusual reason. Like as far as the principles of justice are concerned, this nation should no longer exist. Then al-ummah, an unusual kind of governance or kingship. And they say also, check this out, ummah is also used for unique personality. Unique individual personality. They say ummatul rajul, qamatuhu, shakhsiyatuhu, wajhuhu, the face of a person, their physical makeup, their personality makeup is their ummah. Meaning everything from your face to your build, your stature, to the way you carry yourself and the way you speak, all of it is actually from your Your entire being is actually from your It's sourced there, subhanAllah. So our entire personality is attributed to them. And al-ummah, interestingly, I can't believe I found this, but al-ummah al-ta'a. Ummah also, or also means obedience. You figure out why that's important. Then or amam, actually, amam. أَخَذْتُ ذَلِكَ مِنْ أَمَمٍ. Interestingly, something that is unusually easy to access. Something that is so close, you're surprised it's so close. Why is this so close to me? My house is really easy to get to. فَبَيْتِي بِأَمَمٍ, they say. My house is very easy to get to. It's really accessible. A person you can talk to anytime is a man dhu amam. I can talk to him anytime, he's accessible anytime. Now you figure out, subhanAllah, our mothers, no one easier to talk to than your mother. No one easier to access than your mother. Someone who's always available to you, even though you and I are not always available to them. Then the last part. So, by the way, just as a quick review, what was the first thing? It was purpose. It was purpose. The second thing was lifestyle and how one lives their life. Then we talked a little bit about what? You remind me. Huh? Speak out, speak louder. Leadership. Then what? Just now. No aftershave. Uniqueness. Finally, and probably most importantly, وَأُمُّ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ أَصْلُهُ وَعِمَادُهُ. The origin of everything is called its and the thing upon which the rest is built, the foundation of everything, or the upholding columns or beams of a building, are also called You have a massive building. Like recently, we're working on our new campus. We're trying to renovate this building. We can move around the windows, the walls. We can move around the sheetrock. We can move around, a number of things. What can't we move around? The beams and the foundation. You can't mess with the foundation. You can't mess with the beams. Actually, everything else is only standing in place because of the beams and the foundation. The of something is the foundation of it and the pillar of it. The thing that's holding it up. In other words, if there is no there is no anything else. Without there's nothing. It's the asl of everything. So they say now, look at how the Arabs use the word in their literature. It's really remarkable. They say Ummun Nujum, the mother of the stars. They call the galaxy a mother of the stars. So they use mother for, wow, what a beautiful compilation of stars. You would use it for a beautiful gathering of stars is called Ummun Nujum. Ummut Tariq Mu'zamuha. If you're going on a road trip, and this is easy for me to explain now. If you're going on a road trip, when you get out of your home, there are local roads until you get to the highway. And then there's a local highway until you get to the main highway that'll take you out of the state or out of the city, right? Now, most of your trip, is that going to be inside the city or the big road? The big road is going to be most of your trips. It's a 300-mile trip. 275 miles will be on the main highway. Then you get off and you go back into the local road, right? Now they say the of your journey, the mother of your journey, without which you would not have had this journey, is the main highway. That the essence of your journey, the big part, what that suggests is we accomplished a little bit of things in life, but most of it is done by who? It's the mother. The most of what we've done is actually our mothers who did that. It's not us. That's Safar or Tariq. Then Harb Ar-Raya, they say the mother of war is the flag. What does that mean? The mother of the war is the flag. The Arabs and old nations, when they go to war, each side has a flag. When the flag falls, the army falls. So this war is only going on until the flag is being held. So the most important symbol that the war is still raging on and we have not defeated the enemy is that the flag is still standing, because so long as the flag is standing, we are standing, or the enemy is standing. Once the flag falls, we've been defeated. So actually, so the essence of why we must continue to fight on is the enemy still has their their flag. The symbol of strength is mother. The symbol of unity is mother. A unification is mother. They say, wa ummur rumh al-liwa. The spears, the spears they used for war. You'll notice that in I'm sure you don't watch movies, so I can't relate. But you have these ancient spears, and they have flags tied to each spear. So these guys are holding spears, and each spear has a flag, right? So it's like they're saying, what's a spear without a flag? And what they say that to the Arabs because, dude, you've got a spear, but your spear has no flag on it. What tribe are you from? You have no identity. What's the point of being a warrior and you're not part of an army? What's your purpose? You're purposeless. So without the the warrior has no purpose. Just like without our mothers, we have no purpose. That's, al-rumh, al-liwa. Similarly, the most important cities of a nation are called the mothers, the mother of all towns. Makkah was called Qura. Qura is not a recent name for a university in Makkah, but actually the original name of Makkah one of its nicknames is Qura. It's called Qura because Qura means villages or towns. It's the mother of all the towns. Why? Because the economy of all the sub-villages and sub-cities of the entire region depend on the trade that is done at Makkah. It's the central, it's the economic, cultural, and even religious center, even in shirk times, where everybody else's idols held. They were held here. That's why it's the mother of all the other towns. And Allah describes in the Quran, interestingly, that on a side note, Allah sends all the prophets, Allah says, حَتَّى يَبْعَثَ فِي أُمِّهَا رَسُولًا. Until He sends into the mothers of those nations, meaning the mothers of those towns, He sends a messenger. Oh, is that okay? That's your baby. Be patient with the mothers. It's mom's program. So anyway, حَتَّى يَبْعَثَ فِي أُمِّهَا رَسُولًا suggests Allah always sent messengers to economic and cultural centers. He did not send them to towns that are of letters like minimal significance. So things that are extremely significant are mothers. And also there's a comparison, because the of all the towns means there are other towns, but only one of them will get the label of which means there are other people in your life, but no one will have the significance that your mother has. Like there's a comparison being done here, and the most essential, the most significant, it goes back to mother. They say Ras. I'm going to see what you guys can guess what this is. They say the mother of the head. What do you think they consider the mother of the head? Implying what's the most essential part of the head? What do you think? I'll take guesses, it's fine. It's halal to speak in a lecture. You're right, the brain, ad-dimagh. It's not the nose, it's not the mother of the head, it's not the mouth, it's not the mother of the head, it's not the eyes. You can do without those. Life will be tough, but you can do without them. What can't you do without? Ad-dimagh. So, Ummul Ra's ad-dimagh. The mother of the head is the brain. Subhanallah. Meaning something you cannot do without. Something you cannot do without. Now, and they have other silly expressions. I might as well throw them at you too. The mother of stupidity is calamity. Ummul Khulfuf ad-Dahiyah. In other words, when bad things happen, you get panicked and you do dumb things. That's what they mean by that. They say Ummu Layla al-Khamr, the mother of a night with a lot of ruckus on the street, a lot of commotion on the street. The mother of that is alcohol or wine. What do they mean by that? They mean there's a rowdy night outside. The reason must be people are drunk. So the source of that is, so they're tying it back to the idea of source. When somebody had a lot of rat problems, they would say Ummul Jidhan al-Nakhla. The mother of the rats is the palm tree. What do they mean by that? I try to get rid of them and they go hide in the palm tree again, the refuge. And they keep, that's the source. We got to cut down that palm tree because there's too many rats under there. Right? So they use these, the was used in so many ways. So what ties this all up, وَاعْلَمْ أَنَّ كُلَّ شَيْءٍ يُضَمَّمُ أو يُضَمُّ إِلَيْهِ سَائِرُ مَا يَلِيهِ فَإِنَّ الْعَرَبْ تُسَمِّي ذَلِكَ الشَّيْء أُمًّا. You should know that anything that is the essence of something and something else follows it or depends on it, that becomes the in Arabic. Like in the Quran, the ayat that are clear, explicit, their meanings are tightened, and we get Allah's guidance out of them immediately. Those are called hunna ummul kitab. They are called the of the book. The scariest part of and the most powerful part of Jahannam, fa ummuhu hawiyah. Right? So the most powerful of something, the crux of something, in a hadith which I can't verify because it's from Lisan al-Arab, but it's only the text of it I'm only using because it makes the same point. Ittaqul khamr fa innaha ummul khaba'ith. Beware of alcohol because it is the mother of all filth. Which means all other filthy things happen as a result of alcohol, as a result of wine. They say ummul shar, these are the last couple, ummul shar and ummul khair. Ummul shar actually means the evil that results in all the other evils. I know we say in English, we say the mother of all evils, but not the same way. What they're saying, when you say mother of all evils, the greatest evil. But they're saying mother of all evils, meaning this one evil results in all the other evils. It combines all of them together. Similarly, Ummul Khair, the mother of all good, is this one good thing leads to all other good things. Every other good thing that happens is a byproduct of this one. So now I shared these meanings with you to tie all of this together, inshallah, and just share one thing about an example of motherhood in the Quran, and I'll conclude. Maybe two examples from the Quran, then I'll conclude. The first thing I want to share with you is me as a person. I'm not going to talk about you. I'll talk about me as a person. Me as a person, a good deal of what my personality is, what I find humor in, what makes me upset, what I like, what I dislike, is actually directly related. Now that I think back, it is directly related to how my mother brought me up. Qasd, purpose. A lot of, my personality traits about work ethic, how should I take something seriously or not seriously, what should I focus on, and things like that. Even how to deal with my friends, so much of my personality, my imma, what was personality, comes from my mother. It's directly attributed to my mother. Then on top of that, my refuge, if I have no one else to talk to, I can't figure out who I can talk to, there's some things that only your mother will understand, nobody else will understand. The Arabs have an expression, الرجل عند أمه صبيان. The man, when he's in the company of his mother, he turns into a baby. He could be a grown man. Your beard could be like taller than you. But when you go to your mom, you melt. You can do that with your mother. Because actually you go back to your origin when you are around your origin. She is your origin, Then what other meanings did I share with you? I shared with you the meanings of, the state, how you're shaped, how life takes shape. I could see directly how, not just what she did for me in the past, what she does for me now. What my mom does for me now. The calm that she provides me now. I can tell you personally about myself, there are so many people talking to me about so many things at the same time, all the time, that I should clinically be considered insane. Like when I'm on a typical day on our campus, there are 5 students that are having a conversation with me at the same time, while 3 or 4 employees are talking to me at the same time, while I'm getting 2 or 3 text messages at the same time. And then they blame me for not having attention span. But the only time I can say I've dropped everything and I'm not distracted at all, and even if I want to, the phone's down, not because my mother told me, because I just don't want to deal with it, and it's just clean slate, is when I'm around my mom. That's it, that's all there is. Nothing else exists, She's a source of recharge for me like nobody else is, I have breakfast with her every morning, alhamdulillah. May Allah protect her and preserve her. And she thinks it's just about breakfast. It's not. It's about surviving. Because those few minutes I get with her every day, oh God. If I didn't have those, people know. People know what happened, Now, having said that, so all of these themes that I'm sharing with you, I can see them how they're directly tied to what I do. Then I wanted to just briefly mention the dua of the mother. The dua of the mother. My mom knows every day I see her, I say, Mom, just kind of make special dua today. I know every dua she makes is special. But I still ask her every single day because I see directly the impact of the dua of my mom in the stuff that I do. Because there is no way possible. And I'm going to remind you guys of this. There are lots of people, mashallah, and I'm so grateful to them. Lots of people make dua for myself and for Bayyinah and for the work that we do and things like that. And I really appreciate it. A lot of us don't realize that our reality, the house you live in, the job you have, the car you drive, the health you have, how your children are doing, and a lot of good you have in your life, we don't realize how much of it is actually a direct result of someone's dua. Like how Allah changed the plan of our life because of somebody's dua. We don't realize it. And you have to take a moment to realize what are the good things happening in your life and appreciate that Allah is taking the sincere dua of people and putting those things in place. Because there's no way you and I could have earned certain things. There's no rational explanation. So earning the dua of your mother, just earning the dua of your mother is probably, it should be the number one priority in a person's life. And those of you that are fortunate to have your mom alive, the worst thing you can have in life is your mom's not happy with you. Worst thing. And sometimes moms, they just have an angry personality and they get angry a lot and things like that. And that's okay. It's not the end of the world. But your job at that point becomes, how do I make her happy? And if you can't make her happy, at least figure out, how do I distract her? How do I change the subject? How do I talk about something else? Because if you could just make her smile, just making your mom, and it's not complicated, guys. It's really not complicated. They're not asking for much. They don't care about money. They don't care about stuff. They just care. They just want to see that you care. That's all. That's all they want to see. So if you could give them that, life will be really, really good. Anyway, so the first thing from Quran and ayah of the Quran, just one, inshallah, and just one observation from the ayah. This happens a number of places in the Quran, but I'm just citing one of them, Surah Luqman. Allah says, وَوَصَّيْنَا الْإِنسَانِ We gave the human being a parting legacy. In other words, human beings, you are now responsible yourselves. Wasiyah is a kind of nasiha. The difference between wasiyah and nasiha is that wasiyah is done where you are now left responsible. Just like a will is left, and who's responsible? The ones who, after the one is gone. Allah gave us an important bit of advice, and now we are going to be held responsible for how we took that advice, biwalidayhi, in regards to both of his parents. So Allah gave us some serious advice in regards to both of our parents, and I'm adding in parentheses an advice for which you are individually and personally responsible. You will be held responsible for how you dealt with both of your parents. The word used for both parents in the ayah is walidayhi. Walidayhi. The singular of it is walid. Walid, it comes from the word walada. Walada means to father. Walidayhi, the two who gave him birth. In other words, the father and the mother are the responsible parties for your physical birth. So biological parents, let's put this in easy English now. Biological parents are called walidain. Biological parents are called walidain. The biological mother, the term for that is not the term for that is walida. The biological mother is walida. So there's a difference between walida and what? There's also a difference between ab and walid. So let me start with ab and walid to get you the point before we go here. A walid is someone, your biological father. Your biological father is your walid. But he does not get the title of ab in literature until he did something more than just be responsible for your mom's pregnancy. He has to have done more for you in life. Maybe he taught you how to ride a bike. He provided for you, he provided for your education. He took care of you. He financed the house. He taught you how to pray. He contributed to you in some way beyond just being your biological father. A contributing father actually goes from walid and becomes what? Ab. Because a walid is simply the biological father. It has nothing to do with anything else. It has nothing to do with a relationship. Meaning you don't necessarily have a relationship with your walid, but if you have a relationship, it is with your ab, because in a relationship someone's contributing. Now let's go to the alternative terms. There's walida and Who's a walida? Someone who gave you birth. Your physical birth mother is your walida. Now sometimes it happens that a mother gives birth. I'm not talking in the Shari'i sense, I'm talking in the literary sense now, in the literature sense, in the Arabic linguistic sense. A woman gives a child birth, and this child is then left in the care of someone else. So the mother passed away or something, and he's raised by someone else. His walida will always be his walida. But some others can take the role of Some others can take the role of But there's an inherent problem here. Every walid is not necessarily a what? An ab. No, not every walid is an ab. But every walida is an I'll repeat myself. Not every walid is an ab. You could say not every dad is a good dad. But every walida is an I'll tell you why. The ayah will explain why. Allah says He gave human beings the advice to be good to who? Both parents. Walidayhi muthanna to both parents. Okay. حَمَلَتْهُ أُمُّهُ وَهْنًا عَلَى وَهْنٍ وَفِصَالُهُ فِي عَامَيْنِ His mother carried him, a load on top of another load. First trimester, second trimester, third trimester. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Load after load after load. Is she contributing already? In other words, my mother is contributing towards me even before I'm born. She's taking on pain for me even before I'm not even capable of saying thank you yet. All I can do for her is cause her more pain. As every day of the pregnancy continues, I am a source of more pain for her, not more joy. And she's sitting there reciting Quran, patting her stomach, taking care of me, and I thank her by kicking her from within or stretching between her ribcage. And, it's incredible. She's already a contributor. She's always an Not every walid is an ab, but every mother is an Now the first word used in the ayah was walidayhi. Remember that? Biological parents. But then Allah says hamalathu. He didn't say hamalathu walidatuhu. He didn't say hamalathu walidatuhu. He said hamalathu ummuhu wahnan ala wahn. Wa fisaluhu fi amain. If you stick to the language of the first part of the ayah, then you would say here walidatuhu. Because walidain are mentioned, and the singular of walidain is walid and walida. He didn't do that. He brought up. His source, his essence, the one who takes care of him, the one who corrects him. Bring up all of the meanings of that we just talked about. She's the one that's doing this from the beginning. وَفِصَالُهُ فِي عَامَيْنِ. And within the course of 2 years, she's feeding him. And then at the end, Allah says, أَنِشْكُرْ لِي. And be grateful to me. Wa. What does wa mean in Arabic? Wa means a number of things. It means and it also means i.e. Now what does i.e. mean? That is to say, Anishkur li wali walidayka has 2 meanings. Be grateful to me and both your parents. Also means be grateful to me. That is to say, be grateful to both of your parents. How will you show gratitude to me? By showing gratitude to both of your parents. One of the ways of showing gratitude to Allah is actually showing gratitude to our parents. Being grateful to our parents. Now it's an interesting ayah because Allah Azza wa Jal talked about being good to which parent? One or both of them? Both of them. But when it came to the contributions, whose contributions did Allah mention? He only mentioned the mother's contribution. There is no Rabbahu, Abuhu, Wahnan ala wahn. No. There's nothing about the father. There's only a discussion about the mother. And there's lots of interesting, reflection by our scholars and our mufassirun. Why is that? Why did Allah only talk about the contribution of the mother and no mention of the contribution of the father? And I won't share all of them with you, but one of them. What does your dad do for you? Can you tell me? Tell me, just call it out. What does your dad do for you? Really, it's that hard to think of what your dad does for you? What does your dad do for you? Advice? Sure, yeah. That goes well. What else? What does he do for you? What has he been doing for you? Has he paid for your education? Has he provided for the household? Got the groceries? Take you on road trips? Food? Sometimes correction? Right? Maybe help with homework once in a while? Check your report card? Oh. So you can remember what your dad did for you. Now think of what your mom does for you. Don't tell me about the ayah. What does your mom do for you? She gives you a hug, everything else. She does a lot for you. But you know what? The real work she did for you, the work she did for you that almost killed her, happened before you were even out of her womb and happened while you were still a baby suckling, which means it happened when you can't remember. Her real work happened, her most difficult time with you was you can't remember. With your dad's memories, what your dad did for you, most of what he did for you happened when you became at least someone who can remember things. As you reach the age where you can remember things, you can actually tell the contributions of your father. But your dad's contribution, she makes me breakfast, she gives me a hug, she's always there for me, she tells me she loves me, etc., etc. Yes, that's all awesome, but nothing compared to what she did when she was carrying you and giving you birth. And do you and I remember this or no? We don't remember this. So Allah chose in the ayah to remind us what we could not have remembered ourselves. The contribution that was impossible for you and I to recall. Allah put that there for us. Because He wants us to be conscious of the fact that, when you deal with your father, it's easy to remember his favors, but the real favor of your mother is impossible for any of us to remember, to visualize. We can't do it. So Allah made it a point to remind us. Now, having said all of this, I want to leave you with the following, inshallah. By the way, he goes back to both parents at the end. Anishkur li wali walidika. Be grateful to me and both your biological parents. In other words, your mother, your contribution to your mother is special. He put it in between both times. He mentioned parents both times and mentioned mother in the middle. Now the last thing I want to mention to you is just one thing about Musa alayhi salam. Just one thing. In Surah Taha, Musa alayhi salam got to meet with Allah. He's up on the mountain for the first time. He's being called by name and he's in shock. Where is this voice coming from? Inni ana rabbuk fakhla'an alayk. I'm your master, take your shoes off. And a conversation begins with Musa alayhi salam and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's a remarkable thing. A human being is talking to Allah. Direct conversation, on top of a cliff. And as the conversation continues, Allah Azza wa Jal reminds him that this is not, you're being introduced to me here, but I've known you all along. Like Allah is telling Musa alayhi salam, He's known him all along. And you don't even remember some things, let me remind you. إِذْ تَمْشِي أُخْتُكَ, when your sister was walking along the river, and she was following you in the basket. Can Musa remember himself in the basket? No. So he's reminding her, or him rather, that this is what I did for you. Your sister walked, and then she said, could I tell you of a family that'll take care of you? I have memories of you that you don't have of yourself, Allah is telling him. But then he says something about how he was returned to his mother. وَرَدَدْنَاكَ إِلَىٰ أُمِّكَ. We returned you to your mom. So the mom came up. But he didn't stop there. Now why did Allah return him to his mother? Because he was supposed to be brought up with deen. It was supposed to prepare his personality a certain way. This was really important for him. And of course he wouldn't have survived without the feeding of his mother. So he had to be reunited with his mother. There are lots of reasons. But what reason does Allah give for reuniting this baby, Musa alayhi salam, with his mom? This is the point I wanted to make. The reason Allah says He reunited him with his mother is كَيْ تَقَرَّ عَيْنُهَا وَلَا تَحْزَنَ, so that her eyes could become cool, which means so she could stop crying. So your mom could stop crying. Also, so your mom could find happiness. So she could keep staring at you, look at you and find peace. So she could keep her eyes on you, fixated on you. And therefore, so she wouldn't be sad. Musa alayhi salam is on top of a mountain being reminded of the favors Allah did to him. What Allah has done for him. And of the favors Allah did to him is that He protected his mother from sadness. His mother from crying. You would think that has to do with my mother, not with me. These are favors done to Musa. And Allah put this together in a way that just like Allah did a favor to Musa alayhi salam by rescuing him from drowning, and rescuing him from dehydration and starvation. Similarly, part of the rescue of Musa alayhi salam was the joy of his mother, the happiness of his mother. In other words, the joy of our mother is not just a gift of Allah to them. The joy of our mothers, the happiness of our mothers, is the gift of Allah to us. When our mothers are happy, you will find a good life. Find a way to make your mom happy. You will have a good life. Things will work out. Money will work out. Family will work out. Other problems will work out if mom is happy. Just figure out a way to make mom happy. I know that's a mission impossible for some of you. Some moms are very difficult. So my advice to moms also is be happy. Because when you're happy, your kids will have a wonderful life. Things will, at the end of the day, they'll work out. كَيْ تَقَرَّ عَيْنُهَا وَلَا تَحْزَنَ. It's incredible that Allah Azza wa Jal made part of the plan. And by the way, so many things Musa alayhi salam went through. He, as a baby, is about to be killed. He's thrown in a basket. He ends up in the Fir'aun's castle. He still survives somehow because of his foster mother. His sister miraculously sponsors and recommends his own mother. They move in. He's raised. He accidentally kills someone. He's kicked out of the house. Or he flees the country. He's in refuge. All these insane numbers of things happen to him. And at the end of all of it, at the end of all of that adventure, what do we find Allah Azza wa Jalla saying? وَجِئْتَ عَلَىٰ قَدَرٍ. And you came exactly according to plan. All of this was part of Allah's plan. وَاصْطَنَعْتُكَ لِنَفْسِي. I've manufactured you, I crafted you for my own self. Part of the craft of Musa alayhi salam is all of his experiences, and Musa alayhi salam could not have been crafted the way he was, according to these ayat, had it not been for the joyful experience with his mother. Allah put that in as part of the upbringing and the building, the manufacture, the special manufacture of Musa alayhi salam. Subhanallah. So the role of the mother in the Quran cannot be undermined. The role of the mother that she plays, even from the language perspective, is something really remarkable. I pray that Allah Azza wa Jal gives us all the real rizq of earning the pleasure of our mothers. May Allah Azza wa Jal make us the source of the peace and calm for our mothers, and may Allah make us earn their du'as and make us a source of their happiness and not a source of their sadness. Barakallahu li wa lakum. I hope, inshallah ta'ala, you guys sit through the entire program, and if you have friends and family who aren't here,
text them, you guys let them know on Facebook or whatever to jump in and join in. Because, hopefully by the end of this day, our intention is not just to teach you something academic about Arabic or some ayat or some stories of scholars and things like that so you take tons of notes. Our intention is hopefully we walk out of here better to our moms. That's our intention. So let's, for the sake of our moms, spread the word. بإذن الله تعالى. بارك الله لي ولكم والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.